Edition of Stories with Interest. Today with me, I have the great Brock Irwin. Brock, you and I met, I want to say about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And for those that don't know, Brock's here in Dallas.
Mhm.
He's amazing. He has been in the business a whopping, I think we've just figured out, we were talking before, just a pinch over 3 years. So three full
Yep.
years of producing, got an August license in 21. So, figure that whatever startup that is, but in 2022, 23, and then finishing just 24, his 22 numbers, he did $14 million, his second full year in the business. And last year finished at 26 million, I think you told me. And then the goal this year is obviously up, up and away, and it's a big old goal. So I think I've expressed this to you many times. You're super impressive, man. Like you've done amazing things. You're a young guy. I will tell you right now, there's no secret to this in terms of you're just doing the right things and you're doing a lot of hard work. So
Yeah.
today, what I'd like to pick your brain about, and everything I said is correct, right? I've not missed anything or misspoke.
No, definitely. And I
You're a
appreciate
beast.
the kind words.
All right, well, you're a beast, man. I appreciate you. So we were just chatting. We've been on this thing for all like 90 seconds before we push record, and we were talking about both of us currently at our home offices at this very moment. And you
Mhm.
mentioned you go to the office for things like realtors, financial planner meetings, things like that. So my question now, I'm just kind of asking because I know you got your start, but we're just going to go from that. How many meetings do you actually think you have in a week? Eyeball to eyeball. We'll count Zoom as a meeting, but just in general, you're 3 years in your career. You're crushing it. How many actual physical meetings do you have? Again, I'll count Zoom as a meeting, but what do you got these days?
Yeah, so my goal each week is typically getting belly to belly about 5 times. So that's either a lunch or a dinner. But I was telling you before we hopped on, I started getting into golf, so I've kind of added that in. Where even though it's January here in Dallas, the weather is starting to get nice enough to be able to go out for a round. So I'll use that for some belly to belly. But typically my lunches, I'm trying to fill those with any sort of referral partner, anybody that can help develop my business each week, but Zoom calls as well. But there's just a different connection that I'm getting when I'm meeting someone face to face compared to Zoom calls, even though this is a great way to at least see the faces of the people you're working with.
All right. So would you say the majority of your meetings that you're doing face to face are new relationships? These aren't people that you're doing business with. I mean, there's some of that maintenance, right, that goes with it. Some of the golf stuff you might invite out, but in general, what percentage of your 5 meetings a week that you're doing, how many are actual new folks that you're sitting down with for the first time?
Yeah, so I would say 75% of them are new meetings. I try to obviously stay face to face with the people that are actively referring me. But new meetings is the main priority with those belly to bellies. And then if I haven't met someone's spouse that I'm working with, try to add that in for a dinner, do some double dates. But it really my main thing that's getting me out of the office is trying to meet new people, listing agents on deals that I've worked with, or just somebody else I've connected to on social media recently, just to finally meet them.
Man, you're doing all the things right, man. Again, nothing here that you're going to tell me today is going to be like this aha, like, "Oh, I didn't think of that." The reality is, this makes me just really frustrated with myself as I know all these things. I know they work. You're proof that it works. And in years where my team, we were flat last year. We didn't go up, we didn't go down. We were flat, but we were certainly down from where I want to be. Um, and it's proof that you can come in this market and crush it in third year in the business. Take a if you want to call it taking away, we're in the same market. So you're taking away $30 million, 26 million or whatever it is from somebody like me. So I'm like, good for you, man. Congratulations. All right. So we're spending, let's just call it 80%. You said 75, 80%. So 4 out of 5 meetings, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, whatever it is, new people. I think the question that I think the somebody maybe watching is going to ask, like, how are you setting these meetings and how you get them? Because I think this is the impressive part. I know where you're going, and you know where I'm baiting you to go with this. You first start, you don't know anybody, you don't know squat. You're a
Right.
young man, you're young and hungry. How do you get these meetings, and how are you getting these? Has anything changed from how you started from the beginning?
Yeah, so from the just right off the bat, I wasn't from Dallas, so I didn't really have many connections. I didn't have family here. I have no college friends. I didn't know a single soul in the state of Texas when I moved here. So when I got into mortgage, it was really start from scratch, and I didn't know how to connect with anybody. But at the same time, that's when social media for getting out of the COVID time of being in mortgage, where business just fell in your lap. It's like, let's turn to social media and try to start meeting people that way. So I think it was September of 22, and I posted the first time on Instagram. I was embarrassed as could be. I did not know what to say, and it took me half an hour to make a 30-second video. But that was really the turning point of meeting people where yes, I'd still have to get belly to belly, still have to go to open houses, brokers opens, but I was creating a pretty warm intro from social media straight from the get-go. And then I've just really leaned into that over the last 3 years, where just as long as that piece is consistent, if I walk into a title company event, if I walk into a broker's open, I'm gonna be recognized at least, and that starts the conversation, opens the door. That way, then I just have to start selling myself and the business that we do. But the introductions are mostly coming through social media and just putting consistent content and engaging with people online.
So that last piece, and you know the word you just said, right? So it's not, hey, I'm Brock and I posted something and let the business come, right? That last word you said was engagement. That's the
Mhm.
key. So what is the secret? So if I'm whether I'm starting new for the first time or I just have this renewed sense of I want to be like Brock when I grow up, I'm going to post something today. What, I shouldn't expect people to be reaching out to me. What do you do? What's the secret behind it? Because engagement's the key. So what do you do specifically?
Yeah, so my biggest approach right off the get-go was just to be known. So it was more so branding. Not I didn't have really any calls to action, and follow me if you want to see more videos is about the extent that I got on that. But really just making myself known and then just engaging with the people that are in our market. DFW is huge, but the real estate market seems small. Like you run into plenty of people that know each other and that are going to share your name. So I would follow the people that I wanted to get connected with and start engaging with their content. And it was almost, I think me and you have used this analogy before in meetings in the past, but it's almost like dating people. I started to engage. I'd like their photo. I would comment on it. They would start engaging with mine. And it felt like you're almost like digitally flirting with each other. And then eventually send a DM back to one of their stories, schedule a meeting. I love having whiskey and cigars. So I reach out to a guy if I see him having a whiskey or I see him smoking a cigar, immediate touch point that I can step in and now take that relationship from just us liking each other's photos to that belly to belly that I'll have for one of those five during the week.
Yeah, I'm going to use the word intentionality, right? You're not on there scrolling looking for the funny cat pictures and all the other stuff that's going on. When you're on social media, you're posting for a reason, which is brand awareness. That's step one, so they at least know who you are, because
Mhm.
because inevitably they're going to check you out, right? Like so, if you're reaching out to them before they even do anything and respond to you, they're going to kind of just thumb through and just make sure you're a real human and that you're good at what you do, and your content helps validate that. It's the brand awareness piece, but most importantly, you're engaging with them. You're being
Mhm.
intentional about liking, like you said, liking, commenting, and just light social engagement. And I think the other part too that I think is so smart about this, you get to know who they are in terms of their real selves, right? Or at
Mhm.
least what they want to show you. But to your point, cigars and whiskey, you guys get to hang out knowing that you got that common interest, or at least know what they like. And if that's not your bag, fine,
Mhm.
you just move on. And there's somebody else behind them that probably is doing whatever it is you want to do. So I think that to me is just so huge. So you've done this. How long do you do this online dating dance? So I like a few photos, I comment a little bit. Is there any timeline, or is it more there's a trigger? Like I need to wait till they respond and reach out to me first. Like when's that cue in the online dating world to where you say, man, it's okay for me to start reaching out and get a little more business centric and try to get a meeting together?
Yeah, so it's going to vary. My approach varies based on like the relationship I've already got or how close that connection is. So I've never done any cold calling really at all. When I first got started, I was trying to find any way to meet a realtor. I called one open house. She turned me down immediately, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not cut out for this. So it depends on the connection I've got. So if I've got like a mutual follower with them, it might be a little bit quicker. It's somebody that I'm close with or somebody I'm already working with, just so I can find a way to get like a mutual introduction. But if it's somebody completely cold, it might vary. If I'm in the North Dallas market, or in a Plano. So if I see somebody doing a lot of business, then it's a little bit easier because I'll see stuff that I do in just my personal life, places I go. I'm like, oh, love that restaurant. I was just there last night. What'd you think? And it's a really easy first step. And after they've seen your name pop up from likes, which also helps you show up on their feed if they follow you back. But if I've seen them doing mutual like things that we would both do, then it's an immediate trigger for me to step in and say, all right, they know me as a person, and they also see the way that I do business with my consistency by showing up on the platform. But on top of that, I noticed like there have been times that I slipped away from being consistent, mainly in 2023, because business was starting to grow. I was starting to hit a stride, but when I wasn't consistent on social media, I remember going to a title company event, and the first thing I do every time when I meet somebody is look them up on Instagram or look them up on Facebook. And if I see on somebody's page that they haven't posted in 3 months, in 5 months, I'm as a realtor, I'm probably not going after that realtor because I don't know if they're really consistent in the business or going to be somebody that's going to be worth the time of going after to build a relationship with. So I started thinking about myself. If a realtor goes to my page after meeting me and they haven't seen me post since November of last year, they're like, oh, maybe Brock got out of the business. Maybe I'm not going to reach out.
I think a couple of things that you said that really hit home that I want to make that point is, first of all, you haven't called anybody in your career. Like that's just wild to me, right? So growing up as the guy without the, I'm mid 40s and I think you're mid 20s, right? Like late 20s, give or take, right? So um, I didn't have that growing up. I had to do the cold calling. I had to do the hard knocks. And I'm not saying yours isn't hard. It's a different kind of hard, right? So I don't want to diminish this and make it sound super easy, because it's the consistency. No consistency in any form is easy, right? Whether
Yeah,
it's a physical
I
working out.
went through it a little bit. I started in the call center world at the beginning, so I had to go through a little bit
Good,
of struggling, but it
good.
was calling cold leads online. So I've been through the cold calling, and I've seen it's definitely not easy, like you're saying, but I've seen the success through this pattern, and it's the same thing with being consistent on cold calling. If that's your thing, go after it, be consistent doing it. Same thing with social media.
Well, and the part I was going to drive home is consistency is hard in anything you do, right? It doesn't matter if it's working out, it's eating right, going to bed on time, having the discipline just to stay on track, follow your day schedule, or post daily. But I think the other part, I love the saying, heard it before many times, but recently somebody reintroduced it to me, which is find your tribe. At the end of the day, I'm a 45-year-old dude that just tolerates social media. I don't love it. I'm not passionate about it. When I'm in there, it's with a purpose and intention. I'm slowly, Brock, slowly, thanks to you, slowly. It's been 2 years since I've known you. I've started doing more and more, and trying to be more intentional about it, because it's so smart. It's free advertising. Every time you post, you're now touching, let's just say, your top 100 realtors that you're following. And because, Brock, you are targeting the people that are active online, and this is the key, because you are using that as your filter to determine whether or not you have a relationship with them, they will see you. When you post, your 100 will see you because you found them that way. You know they're active, they see you, versus the person you look up, it may be a baller, but if they're not online, you're probably not going to put them in your filter, and that's okay. It doesn't meet your standards, it might meet mine, right? So that person and I might get along better, and we both can sit there and lament how much we hate the online world and how much things are changing and sound like we're 80 years old. But I think that's the piece too, is just find your tribe. There's enough people out there in any market, big or small, that you can pick who you want to go after. And I'm just so again, I'm so amazed and impressed by you on a consistent basis, that you're just wise beyond your years. You're actually listening, right? You and I've had a lot of conversations, and I've just been like, and I would like to think I was like that too. Still am, hopefully, right? Where you listen to the folks that have been there, done that, but you're not scared to implement quickly and make mistakes. I know last year was a rough year with help and stuff like that, and you went through a few changes, but you've just been crushing it. The meetings, we can all fill in the blanks for what happens after the meetings. What else? So aside from the meet the social, you engage them on social. And I love what you said. It just depends, because it's like dating, folks. Like there's if I date a girl, if I really, really like her, I am calling her the next day. All right. The dating rule says wait a day or two. Like you just have to gauge how that relationship is online to move it into the physical world of actually having an eyeball to eyeball. What else do you think you do really, really well that maybe the average Joe doesn't?
Yeah, so a big thing is my systems that I've got with my not only my lead management but my referral partner management. So I use Jungo, just built on Salesforce, it's a great platform. But the same way that I treat my leads that come across, that have committed to apply, have done an application, get pre-approved, and my follow up with them, I started doing the same thing with my referral partner. So if I'm writing a, why don't I write this referral partner that I just landed the meeting with? Why don't I write them a handwritten letter, send them a Starbucks card, say, hey, thank you so much for meeting me. Follow up with them after a lead to show them I'm thankful. So when I'm going through just my day-to-day, I'd use theme days with the way that I follow up with leads. I'll do the same thing when I follow up with referral partners. So on Mondays, I'm following up with people who may have been out on showings, so current realtors I'm working with. Tuesdays, I'm following up with realtors that I'm trying to schedule meetings with. On Wednesdays, I'm doing pipeline updates. So I'm trying to get introductions to these listing agents that I haven't worked with yet. So I'm trying to find a follow-up system day in and day out. That way, if I don't have new consultations that are going on, I can use that call block to be going after my list of referral partners that I've got a target list, I've got a focus list. So I've got essentially ranked referral partners of who I want to go after, who I want to build a deeper relationship with. So when I really changed from treating my referral partners the same way I'd treat the leads that they give over, then things just consistently run like a business. You don't feel like you're chasing after the next one once the deal closes.
I love that run it like a business, and that because that's what you've done. You are very tight on your time blocking. You're very disciplined at what you do. I like that you have a plan A, plan B.
Mhm.
So plan A, you're going to say, okay, here's what I could or should be doing from a theme day. But if for some reason that hole's open, I know exactly what I'm going to do from the pivot. So the audibles are already like established and you know what you're doing. So I love that, man. Well, again, I don't know that I have that many extra questions. I mean, again, there's so much more I want to cover, but just for the interest of time and make sure we're tight. One last nugget? Anything that you would say that you think would help somebody trying to get the next level? You almost doubled your business. I mean, you're talking 2 million. That's one big jumbo loan. You basically doubled your business in a year where most people like myself were either flat or down. What do you think? What's one extra little nugget just for a little bonus before we sign off? What do you think? One extra thing you could or should do or would recommend doing?
Yeah, this isn't groundbreaking, but it's been the biggest thing for me. And the reason we know each other is going to people who have been super successful in this business in the same role and trying to learn as much as I can from them. So the times that me and you will sit down and get lunch, I had a mentor in McKinney, the current guy who owns our company. I try to sit down with him as much as I can just to get little nuggets because you've been in the business a long time. Our owner has been in the business 20 plus years. My mentor pre-4, he was 25, 30 years. So just soaking up every bit that I could from them, even though the way that you guys did business in the early 2000s is going to be very different from the way that I do marketing now. But the different nuggets I pick up with consultations, the different ways that I can handle sales and still grow that way has been really a turning point for me because you guys are still seeing success and pivoting. So I want to pick up as much as I can from the people that have shown that success in the past.
Yeah, new success brings new problems and new challenges, right? So it's like, it's different. It's still the same. It's still widgets. It's still sales. It's still blocking and tackling. It's still making more contacts. But I love it. And I would use the word community right now. You know me. I'm a big proponent of. I think you need at least three things. You need a Sherpa, a coach, and a mentor, right? So you and I, whether it's coach or mentor, and I think mentor is guidance, coaching
Mhm.
is accountability, and then the Sherpas, buddy. I know we got mutual friends that are your age, your stage of life, your stage of business, your stage of career. Having those guys that challenge you and hold each other, kind of like on the same level to say, man, I'm going to do this, and then you inspire each other, hold each other accountable, and then have the coach and have the mentor. And sometimes those can be the same people, but
Mhm.
I agree with you, and I think that's where if anybody's failed, I shouldn't use the word failed. If somebody's not where they want to be, I'm willing to bet they didn't consult and find exactly what you said, that mentor coach and early enough in their career. So,
Yep.
man, Brock, you're the man, dude. You know that I know that, and I respect that out of you. Thanks for joining, and hopefully we'll see you again soon on Stories with Interest.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you having me on and thankful for all you do, man.